Money Talks.
Money Talks.
Money Talks. Money Talks.
Hi, my name is Ibukun Oyedeji, President CFA Society Nigeria. Join me and a host of other financial industry practitioners for Money Talks with CFA Society Nigeria.
Money Talks.
Money Talks.
Money Talks. Money Talks.
Money Talks with CFA Society Nigeria. Let's talk about money.
Hello everyone and welcome to Money Talks. Money Talks is a financial literacy program and is brought to you by CFA Society Nigeria. Smart. Uzechi is my name. Today on the program, my guest is Fakrogha Charles Oyinmiebi. He's a chartered stockbroker, broadcaster, a mortgage banker, and trainer involved in the training and certification of dealing clerks. He's also a Securities and Exchange Commission approved person. Charles has over 2 decades of securities trading, asset management, and investment banking experience. He's currently the managing director of Max Fund Africa Limited, a crowdfunding firm based in Lagos. Charles has a BSc degree in chemistry. You will believe that? He had the biochemistry option from the River State University, and that's my alma mater, and an MBA Finance from Lagos State University, Ojo, Lagos. Ladies and gentlemen, is our guest on Money Talks this evening, and we're going to be talking about dispute resolution in the capital market. But first of all, let's welcome our guest this evening, as we do. So Charles, that's for you. Good evening and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Captain Smart. I'm excited we're here in the studio today.
Yeah, it's good to see you. And thanks for being here. You know, you're on television. He's a broadcaster. You heard it there. So he's our man. He's our man. That's great. We're talking dispute resolution in the capital market today. And of course, Charles has the experience to take your questions. You can call us on 0700 923 923 923, or you can send a message to us on WhatsApp 0817 313 6193, or send a voice note to us as well, and you will have all your answers from Charles, who is experienced in the subject dispute resolution in the capital market. Charles, let's start by asking you to tell us, what is the capital market?
Yes, thank you very much, Captain. You see, the capital market, people should not get confused. The capital market is one aspect of the financial markets. Okay, if you look at the financial market, you say money market and capital market. Yeah. Those decisions does not really matter. But we used it so that people can understand what sector of the financial market they are playing in. So for capital markets, you are looking at instruments that are traded that are beyond 1 year in terms of maturity. Okay. 1 year and above. And the kind of instruments you trade in this market, shares, bonds, derivatives, and even near shares. You have preference shares. Okay? They are not shares, they are not bonds, they are in between. We call them preference shares. Now, these are the instruments that are being traded in this capital market. Now, the capital market of any country is crucial for its economic development, because it's a market where funds are being mobilized from the deficit sector from the surplus sector to the deficit sector for productive ventures. And that is one of the responsibility of the players in this market, especially the stockbrokers. They have to do everything possible to ensure that they are able to raise funds through this market for productive ventures. And of course, when issuers like those who have come to the market to raise these funds, they will have enough money to expand their operations and thereby increasing employment opportunities for the teeming youth in the country. So that's just briefly about what the capital market is all about.
Thank you so much for that in-depth explanation. You've mentioned a lot of things here. I've heard investors, I've heard issuers, I've heard stockbrokers. You know, these are players in this market, yes, as you said. So can you tell us, what transactions actually occur amongst these professionals when they come to this market you have called the capital market?
Yes, again, you will see that the capital market, like I have said, you have is a market for long term, as we always say. Again, I can also divide it based on the instrument that are being traded. Now, I can also divide it based on, okay, I can say the market, this is a primary market, and this is the secondary market. Now, when you say secondary market aspect of the capital market, you're talking about the new issues of shares. Now, these companies are coming for the first time to raise funds, or these are fresh funds they want to raise. That is the primary market. Now, when you now say secondary market, the securities that were issued to raise funds in the primary market need some kind of liquidity. You now have them being traded on a secondary market, being provided by the securities exchanges. So you can see the NGX is there, the NESD is there, even the commodities exchanges, they're also there to ensure liquidity for this instrument, these securities that are being issued. Now, the type of transactions that are being done in the Nigerian capital market is basically you have an issuer, which is the company that is coming to raise funds from this market. Then you also have the issuing house. These are the financial advisor to this. Then you also now have the stockbrokers, who are the facilitators of all these transactions. Now, you cannot have a market like this, a capital market that is very sensitive to the economy, without having a referee. So you also have the regulators, which is the main regulators, the apex, the Securities and Exchange Commission. They regulate this market. And they didn't just wake up one day to regulate the market. They have enabling laws that enable them to regulate this market. That is the ISA, Investment and Securities Act 2007 as amended. However, we've been told that there is a bill now, ISB 2004, that has passed second reading, and we believe that very soon it will be passed into law and becomes ISA 2024. Okay, so for this market, there are a lot of transactions, a lot of people are involved. Dispute can arise.
Okay, we'll get to that point. It's getting more interesting now. If you have a question, Charles is experienced. I told you when we started, you can call the telephone number 0700-923-923-923. That's 0700-923-923-923. You can send us a message on WhatsApp as well, 0817-313-6193. If it's about the capital market, Charles will provide the answer. So Charles, with all of those people you mentioned, institutions, individuals, and all of that, there's no way there will not be dispute. There must be dispute. So can you tell us the kind of disputes that commonly arise in this capital market with all of these professionals and individuals you're talking about?
Okay, I'll try and make it very simple.
Yeah.
Because some of those disputes can be very complex. But let me just come down to the average investor. Now, take a typical operator in the market, which is a stockbroker. Now, an individual comes to that stockbroker and say, I want to buy shares in a particular company. And that investor gives that broker some money. Now, the broker will now do what they call a KYC, know your client. After all that documentation, the investor will now say, okay, I want you to buy these shares for me. And of course, it goes to the floor of the exchange and he buys those shares. After some time, there are issues. Maybe those shares are sold without the authority of the investor.
So that can happen.
That can happen. That is a dispute. But what we are saying, because the capital market is very critical in terms of economic development, no government all over the world will just allow it to be. So there are already established institutions, rules and regulations that will ensure that these kind of issues are taken care of as quickly as possible. Because our main training as stockbrokers is to ensure that, generally regulators, they want to ensure that the market is free, fair, transparent and efficient. And they know that there is information asymmetry. The stockbrokers or any other operators, they are experts in their own profession. So the customers, the investors are novice. So there is a lot of laws, regulations that will protect the interests of the investor. So that particular investor now that discovers that I'm supposed to get dividend from the shares I have bought, and he or she is not getting dividend, it's a dispute. Most of them don't even know what to do. So what we are now saying is, as very simple. You don't need to go to the stock exchange to complain. You first of all, you go to the stockbroking firm, the stockbroker that has bought those shares for you, and say, this is it. Of course, we want you to put it in writing. And in the stockbroking firm, part of their what we call a minimum operating standard, you must have your policies that will guide you, your SOP, standard operating procedure, how you go about your day-to-day running this business. Now, they will need to register that complaint and ensure it is resolved within 10 working days. However, if that dispute is not being resolved, then, or the investor or even the stockbroker is not satisfied with that resolution, either party can escalate to the NGX Secretariat. Now, the NGX Secretariat will record that complaint and now say, okay, what are the things? Show us the evidence that you'll be able to resolve or not resolve this issue. Now you say it has not been resolved. Then they will now call for what they call an all parties meeting. All parties meeting. The investor will be there, the stockbrokers, and of course, the officials of the NGX, they will be there. And they will try to do a lot of mediation, arbitration, just to see how this thing is resolved. Because capital market dispute need timely resolution. Because these are economic issues and it can affect that individual. Now, they give a resolution. Either, okay, you go and buy back those shares, or what has happened, okay, these are the issues. Now, if either party, one is not satisfied, then it is their fundamental human right to
go to court.
No, not to court for now. That's what we are saying.
Okay.
Don't go to court for now. You can now escalate.
Okay.
To what they call the investigation panel of the NGX. So that panel will look at the issues again, look at the recommendations from the all parties meeting, and say, okay, why are these issues not being resolved? What happened? Of course, they look at it and they give their own verdict. Again, if either party is not satisfied, they can now take it to what they call the Regulatory New Business Committee. Those ones also look at the issues again and give a decision to resolve it. However, that decision is only binding because the NGX Regulation Board, as NGX Regulation, a subsidiary of the NGX PLC, will finally now validate that their decision. Then we will say that is the decision of the NGX Regulation. Again, if either party is still not satisfied, then you can now take it to SEC, which is the APC, not APC party, Administrative Proceedings Committee of SEC, which is a body, it's a quasi-judicial body that comprises all the market players. Stockbrokers are there, SEC officials are there, NGX is there, all the even capital market solicitors, they are all there. They will now look at these issues and now give their own verdict. Now, the enforcement of that verdict depends on SEC itself, the APC, and those verdicts that they give must be carried out. Either party must ensure that they meet those obligations on their own. Now, again, if either party they are not satisfied, then you can now take the matter up to what we call the IST. This is the controversy now. The IST is the Investment and Securities Tribunal. Now, the issue is, if you take capital market disputes to the regular court, it takes a lot of time.
Because I was going to come there.
It takes a lot of time.
But before that time, Charles, this discussion is already eliciting some reactions and questions are coming. So let's go to the phone lines. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the program.
Hello, good evening. Good evening, Captain Smart. Good evening to your guest.
Thank you.
I've been listening. I have.
Can you tell us your name? Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Okay, my name is Ifi. I'm calling from New Jersey.
In the US.
I have a question about unclaimed dividends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I remember a couple of years ago I bought a lot of shares, and as it stands, I have loads and loads of unclaimed dividends. So what happens to those unclaimed dividends after some time, and how do I go about getting them?
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Charles is going to provide the answer.
Yeah.
So, Charles, because of time, what you mean is that after you have exhausted all of those, avenues.
Yes, for dispute resolution.
If it fails, one can take it to a regular court.
You don't even need to go to a regular court. The IST has the same jurisdiction as a federal high court.
Oh, really?
And that's what we are saying. That most people are not even aware of this. So we are now saying, however, some judges, some legal practitioners are still saying that the part of the constitution has to be amended to give that IST, that much push to say, yes, you still have the same jurisdiction as a federal high court. But for now, it is.
Okay.
It
is.
Now, if you are not satisfied with the IST, because their ruling is equivalent to a federal high court ruling.
Oh, wow.
If you are not satisfied, then it's to appeal. Go to appeal courts.
Okay.
However, that does not preclude individuals who don't even know. Because when you have a dispute like this, they are running to regular court. But we are saying, try to exhaust all the mechanisms that are available in the capital market before going to the appeal court.
Right.
Yes.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Captain Smart.
Welcome. Your name and where you're calling from?
Thank you. My name is Valentine. I'm calling from Mamuwo.
All right.
Captain, what happened to your voice?
It's coming back.
Okay, thank you. I have this year. I have some shares I bought from one of the major telecommunications. I don't want to call the name.
Yes.
This year now, I didn't see any dividend. Then I called the agency that helped me acquire the share. So that the telecommunication company did not make any gain this year. I said, why didn't they send circular or anything? They said they didn't say, they just said no gain this year, so they are not paying any dividend. I wonder how true it is. A major telecommunication company in Nigeria.
Okay.
Telecommunication company in Nigeria.
Okay. He will answer that question. He will answer. Let's take another call so you can take the three questions together. Hello, good evening to you.
Good afternoon or good morning. Good evening.
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Steve calling from Phoenix.
Phoenix. Okay.
So, I have a question as regards private placements. I bought some private placements years back. Until date, they've not been listed in the stock market. What can I do?
All right. Stay tuned.
Thank you.
D. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Captain Smart.
Thank you so much for calling. Your name and where you're listening from?
My name is Cosmos. I'm calling from Ikoton.
All right.
Good evening to your guest over there.
Yes.
Please, when you were giving us this information, you first of all, Captain Smart, you mentioned court. That was when something hit my head. Now, your guest now mentioned APC, though he mentioned something else. But all the talk still boils down to APC and court, APC and court. Can they change that APC to something else, please? Oh, thank you.
Okay, thank you. He told you that it's not the APC party.
Administrative Proceedings Committee.
That's what it is. So it's not a political party. So, Mr. Charles, unclaimed dividend, if he asks a question from New Jersey, no gain from the telecommunication company. So they said no dividend. That's from Valentine. And then private placement, no listing. How do they go about it? So these are the three questions you answer very quickly.
Let me start with Ify from
New Jersey in the US.
Now, she's saying she bought shares for quite some time and
yes,
she's not been able to get that is dividends.
Yes.
Now, there is a lot of unclaimed dividend today as we speak in the Nigerian capital market. We're talking of over 100 billion naira unclaimed dividend. And that is why the regulator SEC has come out with what they call electronic management system, dividend management system, where you need to mandate your accounts so that as soon as a company declares any dividend, it goes straight to your account. So maybe when she was buying those shares, she did not provide her account number to the brokers or the agent that assisted her to buy. And once the dividend is declared, it will not go to account. However, some persons in the past, they used to print this dividend But now everything has gone digital. So she needs to go back to that stockbroker, and they will give her the form. Or she can even go to SEC website. The form is there. Let her just type her name. She will see the companies where she has outstanding dividend, and just fill the form, provide the necessary documentation, and of course, send it through a stockbroker. I'm assuring her that she will get all her dividends.
Wow.
However, if it is beyond 10 years, then the status bar, it will still go back to the company. But the ones that are much more earlier, you will get those ones.
All right. So the second one?
The second one about the teleco company that has not made profit.
Didn't make profit.
They didn't make profit,
Yes.
and they have not paid dividend. Now, that shareholder should understand that when you buy shares in a company, you are part owner of that company. So you can only benefit when the company has made profit.
So it's assets and liabilities.
Exactly.
Wow.
So you are not a creditor to the company. You are a part owner of that company. So when the company is doing well, you enjoy. If the company is not doing well, you also bear that risk with them. So, however, the companies publish their results. So you will see it. It's not nobody's hiding anything. The capital market is the only place where we say you dance naked.
Wow.
You must display everything. Transparency is key. We call it full disclosure. So if the company is saying we didn't make profit, he will see it in the annual report. And he has the right to request for that annual report. So if he's not satisfied with what they have told him, he should go to the company's head office, company secretary, and he'll get a report, even online copy. And he will look at, of course, he can use the services of his stockbroker or any financial expert to help him see that, yes, actually, this company did not make profit. And it's not a must, even though they have made profit to even pay. Yes. The approval of payment of dividend will be made open in the AGM. And if the shareholders approve, then it will be paid. So the shareholder should just continue to monitor that company, go to their AGM and see what it can do to even give advice to the board and management. One person mentioned about private placement and why is it not being listed. There is no rule that says if I come to raise fund via private placement, that particular investor will be subjugated, because private placements are only given to people who have some knowledge about the market. That is a private placement. I am saying I believe in Captain Smart and Co. company. So I want to invest in it. So they will give me that private prospectus. It's not done to the public. I fill it, send it to them, and send my money. Now, after some time as a private company, the company now sees that they are getting a lot of shareholders and they want to raise their shareholder base so that it will enable them raise more money. They can now come to be listed. There is no timeline.
Okay.
Some people believe that they should just remain private. They don't want to come to the public.
All right. And somebody saying you asked Ify to check for her dividends somewhere. Say, please, can you take it again?
Yes.
He also wants to check his own.
SEC website. Securities and Exchange Commission of Nigeria. SEC website. Just go to their SEC website. Then you will see the link there. And of course, when you click on that link, you type your name, you will see the outstandings of your dividends.
Wow. Okay. We'll take another message here.
Good evening, Captain Smart. Good evening, Mr. Charles. This is James Ubuna from Oshodi. Okay, so I want to ask, this NGX, is it something as stock exchange, Nigerian Stock Exchange? Because I seen that NGX, that name, NGX, not quite long. So I don't know if it's the same thing as stock exchange. And, I'm always interested in topics like this because I don't know if I will say I deal with the capital market a lot, because I got some shares in about 3 to 4 banks. And I bought one directly from my stockbroker, but I noticed that they keep sending me, when the other banks were selling, they sent me the information that those banks are selling their shares, but they had to give me NGX platform. They asked me to go and create a trading account, and I found out that it was through the NGX platform that I bought the one I bought, unlike the other ones I bought from them directly that I would just fill papers and send to them, they will buy it for me. But this one was through NGX, so I don't know why it is different, why I had to buy some from them, why I had to buy some from the NGX. And then that's just it. So, and again, the issue of dividends.
Okay, because of time. So Mr. Charles, very quickly, yes. I have like 3 questions you have to answer in 2 minutes. So you have to manage. Individuals are aggrieved. how do they go about seeking redress for this dispute? And can you tell us the common issues that can militate against the fast resolution of a dispute? Because what you explain now, the process looks as it's going to take some time, and it can erode customer confidence in the capital market.
No, it's very simple and straightforward. Yes, as long as the investor knows you have the guidance of your stockbroker.
Yeah.
Once you have dispute like that, the issue is awareness and education. Most of the investors are not aware, and they are not enlightened to know the little things you can do. If you have a problem with a broker, you send the complaint. It is expected to be resolved within 10 working days.
10?
Yes. If you take your matter up to the IST, Investment and Security Tribunal, 90 days is the maximum any matter can remain in that tribunal. So because we're talking of billions of naira. So there is a timeline for resolution of this dispute. So the capital market is a place where investors' protection is key. Wow. Because if you have foreign investors investing in that market, when we have a dispute like this, and they know that they can be resolved as quickly as possible, then that will bring investors confidence. So investors should just continue to talk to their stockbrokers, who will take them through the process. It's very simple and seamless.
And somebody said, this my private placement is a decade now, and no returns, no listing. What do I do? Sheoti law.
Yeah, it has not gone. It has not gone. It's a private placement. Go back to the agent or the broker that assisted you and even look for that. It's still a private company if they are still existing. So it is a private placement. And that is why we advise, before you go into such investment, talk to your stockbroker, who will now advise you and profile your risk profile and know whether you can take that risk. If the company is doing so well, you will not be telling us this.
So those institutions you're talking about, can you just mention a few of them? The institutions people can go to that are dedicated to handling these disputes.
Yes, you have the stockbroking firm itself.
Yeah.
That is the operator. You can go to meet them. Then you can go to the security exchanges. Now somebody is asking NGX. NGX used to be Nigerian Stock Exchange.
Yeah.
When they demutualized, it became NGX Group PLC with 3 subsidiaries. The one you go to now is NGX Regulatory Company.
Yeah.
They will take care of your dispute and advise you, will give you all the advice as to how you will resolve your dispute. But if you are still not satisfied, I've mentioned here, you need to go to the tribunal, Investment and Securities Tribunal, which are the same jurisdiction as a federal high courts.
Somebody say here, Charles is a celebrated stockbroker and my tutorial teacher. And this is Otunuga that is validating you here. This is no wonder. This looks like a classroom, but we'll have to end it here. Charles Fakrogha Oyinmiebi, he has been a guest on the program, a chartered stockbroker, broadcaster, and a mortgage banker. He is managing director of Max Fund Africa Limited. Charles Fakrogha, maybe. Thank you so much for coming to the program this evening.
Thank you, Cadmus Fans. I hope we can do this another time.
I'm telling you. So please, CFA Society, you need to bring Charles Fakrogha back and back very quickly, because this is a lot of sense. Till next time, please make sure you keep making finance a force for good. Smart Uzechi is my name.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Money Talks, hosted by the CFA Society Nigeria. Stay connected with us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, X, and YouTube at CFA Society Nigeria. Follow us for more financial insight and update. Keep a date with us next time.